You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host. And today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors. And now our local crime correspondent Bessifer Blood has the roundup of today's court matters of interest. Over to you.
Stolen meat. Judd O'Dara appeared on remand in the magistrate's court, charged with breaking and entering the Farmers' Cooperative butcher's shop and stealing 4 pounds of sausages and a leg of mott therefrom. The charge was reduced to stealing, and Dara pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 6-month imprisonment, but the sentence was suspended on the defendant entering into a bond of good behaviour for 12 months. It was stated that meat had been stolen 3 times every week from this shop since Duskgrim. False pretences. Grease Zapal, on remand, who pleaded guilty to 2 charges of false pretences, was sentenced to 2 months' imprisonment on each charge, the sentences to be concurrent. The magistrate told Zapal that if he behaved well, he could recommend a remission of the sentence. A member of the union fined. In the summons court, Krine Zatok, Central District Secretary of the HCIEU, proceeded against Vero Tain, 2 years' arrears of union fees. It was stated that the defendant, who has been a member for the last 12 cycles, had not resigned or obtained a clearance. Defendant was ordered to pay the arrears and costs. Licensing case. In the licensing court on Tarn Day, Lana Harmond and Samuel Neville, for being on licensed premises, the Three Suns Hotel, after hours on the 19th of Frostwake, were fined 116 credits each, including costs. Jaina Olswen, licensee of the Three Suns Hotel, pleaded not guilty to a charge of having refused the constable's admission to the hotel on the night in question. After hearing evidence, the magistrate announced that he would give his decision on Saturday. Murder charge. Kuro Arak was charged at the Central High Court yesterday with having murdered Gar Halcor and Lorne Sion of the Lower Ringgate, and was remanded until the 20th of Cruxfall. When Arak mentioned the subject of bail to the constable in court, Mr. Mamoz said that no bail would be allowed. Fined for using obscene language. Anantha Pellis, the heroine of so many little episodes in the magistrate's courts, stood before Mr. F.D. Vale, acting magistrate, this morning, when she was charged with having been drunk in Tarot Gardens. She replied, "Guilty, Your Honour." She was then charged with having used obscene language in Romina Street. The language was shown to her on a slip of paper, and Pellis replied, in a horror-stricken voice, "Oh, Your Honour, I'm not guilty to using that." A Sub-Inspector Mann prosecuted. She was fined on the first charge and sentenced to 3 months' labour on the second. And that is all from me for the moment. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Bessifer. Coming shortly is our Children's Fun Fact Science Corner, after these brief commercials.
Hi, it's Mikey. Hi there. I'm here to introduce a few players to episode 15 of The Doom that came to Sanctaris. They're going to tell you a little bit about their characters, and I haven't picked a theme for what you can talk about, so the first person can decide. Lou.
Hi, I'm Lou. I'm playing Kuro Arak, someone who's not generally used to being in the desert. It's very warm. There's a lot of body hair.
Now, going to somebody else with a lot of body hair, and I mean his character, Ed.
Hi, my name's Ed Fortune, and I'm playing a Tynan called Captain Carter-Heek, which is a beaver person. They like the water because beaver person. Currently, they are worrying about their own personal hygiene. Of course, they are impeccably groomed for a beaver person, and they're not going to shave themselves or anything like that. It'd be ridiculous. You would have a bald Tynan, and that would just be bad CGI.
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Severus Sai, who is a Northland who very much likes it when it's underwater and when it's not, dry and baking and uncomfortably hot. Also quite likes it when it's dark too. He's a soldier sharpshooter and quite disoriented at the moment.
And my name is Adam, and I'm playing Rakeo Balazari, a Kalanat priest of the Church of Neridia. And being a priest, Rakeo is very much used to deserts, but that is the desert of the soul.
Ooh. And they call me pretentious.
Yeah.
I'm imagining every single one of your sermons now, and Just
Yeah, there's a reason why Kura's not particularly religious. Just sniggering through the snow-ins.
The chamber trembles. Dust drifts from cracks in the stone ceiling, stirred by the distant boom that shuddered through the tomb. Somewhere behind you, the blast still echoes off ancient walls. The outer doors, sealed for millennia, have been torn open. The way is no longer closed. The silence that follows is thick. Still, it's not peace. It's a breath, held before the scream. So what are you doing? The doors have been blown off. It is quite far away from where you are. There are a number of very big rooms and a lot of corridor between you and those front doors. The ash is thick on the floor here. There are bodies of Vreen worshippers mummified around this room. And in the centre, as I say, is this grand sarcophagus, standing upright, not flat, with just off from it a pedestal.
This seems to be the place where we need to replace the prism to seal it in, but I cannot tell. If we put it back, will that wake it? The prism seems to be demanding that is what I do, and that has made me very suspicious that is the correct course of action. We have a little time, I feel, before our uninvited guests come to join us. If you will bear with me a moment, I will pray to the goddess for guidance. And he drops to his knees, slowly leaning on the stick. And as he goes down on both of his knees, it is clear that this is a position that really hurts him to be in. With his badly injured left knee, you can see that the brace is scraping against the stone. He clears a space in front of him, and he reaches into his robes and he draws out a bag of, well, it's hard to see what's in there exactly. Small, clinking things in this black velvet pouch embroidered with the symbols of the moon. He shakes the pouch around and starts praying subvocally. All you can make out, carried in the whispers of the tomb, is the words Neridia and Vision. But other than that, unlike previously where his prayers have been quite loud and pronouncements, this is subvocal. And then he scatters a few items from the pouch in front of him. They appear to be knuckle bones, each engraved with runes in silver, some of which glitter. Mikey, I am decommitting the Force die from Sense, and I'm using Foresee. Inevitably, it is another dark side point. I am going to use that because this is important to me, but I will be tempering my interpretation of the vision with the knowledge that because I'm having to draw it from the darkness down here, there is a chance it might be corrupted by the prism's influence. But it is more important to know, even if what you know is what the prism wants you to know, than it is to proceed blindly.
Fair. The dark side is thick around here. You can feel it, not just sense it. It permeates everything. So it is so easy to pull up on it, and so difficult to see any glimmers of light in this place that was, in the end, a place of triumph, but a place of significant self-sacrifice and vicious cruelty. You draw upon the powers of yourself, but permeated by the evil that has transpired here. What is it that you're hoping to see? Direct what you really
What will happen if I just put the prism back into the plinth where the prism clearly came from?
Okay.
Is what I'm hoping to see. It should give me vague hints of events to come.
Yeah. You focus on the now and what the possibilities of actions can be. You see breaks in potential. You see options going one way or another, but you focus wholly on one course of action, taking out the prism, walking forward, and placing it on the pedestal. You must have seen it subconsciously because you can see the pedestal a lot clearer now as you imagine yourself walking up to it. And you can see it is clearly made to house this gem. The pedestal is black onyx but coming from where the gem sits, there are veins of the same purple amethyst-like material that the gem is from, like it's leaked into the pedestal. You see your hand with the prism in, placing it in there, and for a second or two there's nothing. And then you feel the power leaching out of the prism, going down the pedestal, and we would say illuminating, but illuminating with the force around the arched dome up to the top, where it fires down through nothing really, it just connects with the sarcophagus, pushing all of this potential, of this energy into the sarcophagus. And the door opens, and your mind comes back.
Okay. And Rakeo gathers the knuckle bones, puts them back in the pouch, and then slowly rises to his feet, which is a multi-stage operation. First, he's leaning on the staff to pull his right leg up and underneath him, and then leaning forward as his knee creaks and he lets out a as he gets back to his feet and leans forward heavily, definitely favouring his left leg at this point. We may have a problem. I pray to the goddess for vision, for a hint of what may happen if we replace the prism into this repository. It feels to me that it would not seal the prism as we had hoped, but would instead release it. Voss, is this the chamber where you got the prism from originally, or is this new to you?
He shakes his head. He said, "No, we've not been here before. None of the rooms we've been in so far I've seen. This must be a completely different entrance to the tomb. But we never got this far."
He would like to start looking around the room. I mean, he's been paying close attention anyway. He's actually going through Abby's panniers looking for something at the moment. But very kind of quickly with his paws as well, and kind of muttering to himself. But I'd like to do two things. One, I want to look around to see if this room has had, if something has moved or changed recently in this room, or if this, if there's something tricky about the structure that we have hitherto missed. And now that Voss has gone, I've never seen this room before. He's like, maybe the rooms move. Let's just make sure that's not the case.
Are you looking mechanically wise rather than... Right, okay.
Mechanically wise. And the other thing he's doing, and he's kind of fiddling with this, is he's looking to construct an extremely rudimentary radio receiver.
Yeah, you do one or the other.
I'll do the check first for the moving room, and then he'll start, he's got it in his hand. He's got a wire and a valve, and he's tinkering, and then I'll do that one after this, if you see what I mean. But the first thing he's doing is just to make sure that the room isn't being weird.
I imagine you're doing it in the same way that an otter holds its favourite stone, just moving it around. Yeah, okay. I'll come back to you in a second. I'm just going to finish off this bit because it's going to take a little bit of a while to walk around. It's a big room.
Yeah.
It occurs to you, Adam, that if he's not seen this room before and they pulled the prism out, it's unlikely that the prism was kept in this room.
I was just about to say that before Red stepped in.
You have my backup on that one, mate. Makes sense.
This feels to me then that this is not a prison room. This is in fact this is the key to unlock the prison, and we cannot allow that to happen. The people who are burst their way in to get here, I suspect we know who they are, and I suspect we know what it is they want, and it cannot be allowed to happen. I do not know what trying to destroy this pedestal will do, but I do know it will not allow the prism to be used to turn the lock. We need to destroy this pedestal. And then even if we die before we can get out, then at least they cannot free this creature.
From the look of the carvings on the wall from the previous rooms, this looks like where he was trapped, where they put him into either the prism or whatever they did with him. It might not be able to get him out, but certainly it's not the place they were holding him to keep him safe, to keep it safe.
So it's effectively where they decanted his soul from his body into this gem, and that's why if we put the gem back in, the reverse will happen to great sadness all round.
I should point out the way I described and the door opens is about the same level of the danger you felt from that.
Yeah.
Nobody is coming out of that door if you put the prism on the thing. It just unlocks the door.
Even so, I'm not prepared to risk that.
Yeah, I didn't want you thinking you put the prism on there and then suddenly, like the Undertaker in WWE, just pulling out the coffin. No, it's not like that.
Even so.
With all due respect, Calinat, this is a job for you and the captain that I'm going to go and see if I can slow down our uninvited guests. Give you space to work.
God rest be with you, Coro.
It's alright. If I do this right, they shouldn't even see me.
I'm going to do Ed's roll, then I'm going to focus on you. Okay, so Ed, you start wandering around the room. It is huge, and there's a very low level of ash all over. It looks quite sandy. If it wasn't kind of a black and grey, it's quite a nice kind of space. As you walk around and scuff up the sand, you notice on the floor underneath them there are carvings very much like the walls. And a number of these carvings look to be not just form but of function. I want you to roll your mechanics roll.
Part of what he's doing whilst this is happening is he marks some things on chalk, goes back over to Apia, pulls out a specific sweet treat, gets Apia to stand on one of the X's, and then feeds the bee this lovely treat which makes her go completely nuts and flap wings whilst staying down, and having a nice swift breeze moves
nice.
the sand the way that he needs it to move.
Mm-hmm. I imagine this is something you've done before, and she knows it's coming. So as you start doing your normal sort of pacing, she will come over to a little bit closer to you and start hovering just behind you to brush away the sand as you go on. You can get a boost for that, but it is a free dice check.
Gosh, one success.
Well, a success is a success. That is a lot of blank dice on there.
There's a lot of blank dice. That's a lot of things interacting with each other to make it work.
This room is quite significantly covered. Not every single piece of the floor, but maybe every 5 feet or so, there is a pressure point. And it looks like to do anything with them, it's not just you press, it's not a trap. You would almost say that it is a, in modern day, you say it with keyboard. The entire room is basically for making commands of this place. So you step on 3 particular things that would do a different thing than stepping on 3 other things. Some of them probably will open doors or set off things or things like that, but there's a lot of mechanics in here.
So one of the ways we build machines is we will have a number of inputs, and those inputs, once we have enough inputs, we then execute, and that causes a mechanical process. There's normally some sort of guide as to what the inputs should be to get the results.
He says to everyone, as to explain what he's expecting them from.
Can you see any clues as to what should be pushed and when? I don't understand. I don't read these ancient languages. I need the...
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask for a xenology roll, unfortunately, from somebody if they want to.
Or law?
I can do a law roll on that.
I will do a law roll and see if I can assist in that.
Numbers, weights and wheels, not words and pictures, I'm afraid.
I understand. This is one of the reasons why I am here. What's the difficulty, please, Mikey? 2 purple?
It's free.
3 purple.
Can I provide a boost by explaining, possibly the mechanics?
Do you have anything in
of it?
technology or law?
That's a good question. Is he educated? Not that way. No, he's got a basic education. He passed his basic exams. Has done a degree. It's not in this. He's got education.
All right. No, it's not going to help, unfortunately.
Okay. 2 yellows and a green versus 3 purple. Let's see where we go. 4 success, but 2 threat. Do I find it by standing on it?
No, I'm going to take the threat as strain because this entire area is draining. It is just the constant pressure of the negativity that happened here is sapping you. But the 4 successes, you can't find anything that kind of explains what's going on the walls or anything like that. But as you walk around, now you're listening for it, you hear clicks. And there are a repeated pattern of these circles into the entire frieze, into the entire frame, that you press on and they drop down ever so slightly, almost imperceptibly. And with that, you get a basis of how this works, because you accidentally step on 2 of them at the same time. And you hear from the right side of the wall a slight raise of stone. And looking, the pattern is slightly askew, as if they're almost imperceivable door that's just pulled up. From that, you can probably work out how to make the doors go a little bit higher or whatever, knowing that these 2 correspond with that door there, and as the patterns are continuous, you've got a way in to try and figure out how to get out of this.
I pass all that across to Heek, assuming presumably that Savriel is guarding the door and Koro has gone off to be a hero.
No. What I'm doing is not heroic.
He sits and has a think. He doesn't go, "It's pie, isn't it? It's pie," which is an obscure reference to Doctor Who. I still don't understand that trap. No one's been able to explain to me how that works. But yes, so he sits down and has a think.
I'm going to come back to you while you have a think about it.
Yeah.
We're going to pull the camera around to Lou, who has headed off out of the room. Describe how you're making your way back towards the entranceway.
Kuro takes it very slowly, very quietly, very stealthily, using all of the cover that, like within the pillar chambers and things that we've seen. Kuro is good at this, she says, not having made a roll.
Do me a stealth check.
Then we will fill in the blank.
Okay, well, Kuro is good at this. Anything that might actually particularly happen will be an outside force rather than anything else. You can be sneaky. Anybody with any dots and things are good at things, so yeah.
Difficulty, please?
Difficulty 2, because you're quite far away from them. So it'll get more difficult the closer you get, but you can get to a viewing port, if you wish, at that point.
That is 2 successes.
That's good enough. You make your way, padding heel to toe, making use of all of the cover you possibly can through the final room with the wall art, and then back through the winding corridors, heading further up and going through the middle room, and then stopping because the middle room and the first room you came into not too far apart. And before you go any further, you can hear something. Footsteps, rubble falling down. Is that the sound of machinery? It sounds like something hydraulic. The sounds of compressed air, repeatedly. There's definitely a fair few people out there. You can probably guess at least a dozen people, but you can't pick up any of the specific voices. But you can get closer if you wish.
My intention here, and actually them having a hydraulic drill, potentially makes this easier for me. I am going to start trying to booby trap the place. So they're using a drill, they're not being careful about structural integrity.
Okay.
So I am going to attempt to use that to my advantage to use the laws of physics against them. They are possibly going into things which are load-bearing.
I should say, it doesn't sound like a drill. It sounds like something with pistons, potentially. You can hear the compressed air kind of opening and closing as the pistons move. But it's clearly a big piece of machinery regardless, so it's not...
Yeah, and that sort of machinery is going to be heavy, so I would like to weaken as much as possible. So if they're trying to bring some machinery in here, that's not going to end well for them. And I want it to be more dangerous for them than it would otherwise be, it being a fairly dangerous thing to do anyway.
Yeah, so the corridor in here is quite narrow, so if they have got something to push through, they would do it from here. I will need a roll of some sorts, and I'm curious what sort of roll you think you might want to do.
I have the Cunning Snare ability, which, as an encounter, as an action, I can create a trap.
Excellent. What do you want the trap to do? Just pull down the sides?
I would like it to drop the floor, to find a weak point in the floor, and to make that weaker.
Okay.
It's an opposed vigilance versus survival check. But, you know, if you want me to make a roll for extra bennies or extra slaps, then I'm more than happy with that.
You can do that with the floor. It might be easier to pull the ceiling down because you don't know what's underneath the floor. But you could certainly weaken the kind of the entrance to the corridor into the second room, which means that if anybody has to push through this, it will bring everything down upon them for the past, say, 10 feet or so. How's that sound?
Yep, that sounds fine.
Okay.
So would you like either a survival or maybe like a skullduggery or something?
I would like you to do me a skullduggery roll first, just to survey the area. The thing here I'm doing is we're seeing if you do pop out something that you kind of...
Would that not be a perception?
It could be, yeah, you could do a perception.
Yeah, see, I have yellows in that.
Oh, go for that one then. Well, what you're looking for is a weak point or something like that, which will help with your survival roll. So,
And 2 difficulty again?
yeah, 2 difficulty on these.
That is 1 triumph.
Okay.
No successes, nothing else but a triumph.
That's fine. We can add something on for there. So yeah, this is an ancient temple, and it's a temple that has not stood the test of time too well. They have guardians in here. Fights appear for tomb robbers and stuff like that. The area outside is drastic, and this is the best place you can think that will pull things down on them. What you notice from the arch is if they push against the particular bit on the top, that'll push the sides in and not just bring down the roof, but probably bring down a lot of ash as it does so. Basically, hopefully just blocking off this tunnel completely.
Yeah, we can find another way out.
So, do your survival roll. It's against their vigilance, right?
Yeah, but they have to roll because it's against my survival.
Oh, what is your survival then?
2 reds and a purple.
So, I'm going against their most vigilant person there. They've got 4 successes on it. But they do have 3 disadvantages and 1 despair. So, and a dark side, which will take away some of their disadvantages, I think. But, yeah, so I never had this before. Tell me what this despair is going to be then. It's like them rolling a triumph and picking. You should probably pick something about what's happening with this despair. They're going to notice the trap, but something dreadful is going to happen to them when they do.
This machinery, this loud noise, they are not being subtle. It's attracted outside attention. The Vreen are coming.
Nice. I like it.
And the Vreen are coming for them.
Yeah, they just blew up their temple. No, I really like that.
Yeah, they've blown up the temple, whilst the others will be on patrol. That will have alerted the entire clan.
I love it. So you set this trap. Are you sticking around, or are you going to try and head back?
I'm going to head back, basically trying to muck as much up as I can along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Chalk markings on the walls, anything I can to disorient them.
Okay. That's a skullduggery roll, I think.
Yeah. 2 successes and 2 threat.
Okay. Yeah. Take that as strain again because of the kind of pushing of the negativity of the entire thing. But yeah, you start not just making markings but obscuring certain things and making it that it is not clear what is ahead of them. It is will more than likely slow them down a fair bit while they check for other traps, seeing as they've spotted one. All right?
Yep.
Okay, you head your way back. I'll let you know when you come back in.
Yep.
Ed, you were sitting down having a think about the different pressure points on the floor.
Heek is wondering how this connects to the tomb, which apparently opens when you put the thing in, and also how this works to the other doors. I think he has found a panel and has the panel off at this point, possibly using a big crowbar bar to take like a stone freeze off so he can actually see what is pulling and what isn't. He suspects it's the sand.
I'm going to give you a little bit because I'm going to base it. There's no panel.
Right.
It doesn't have that sort of thing. And from your knowledge of the Vreen, the Vreen generally are not a sort of people to write things down or make any sort of... This is probably... The way this works has been passed over generation and generation in a verbal way. So you won't find any particular instructions or a kind of like a reset or anything like that. But by stepping on different pads, you can put together logically what happens in that area and kind of extrapolate to the others.
Like a massive typewriter almost.
Yeah.
I think there's a moment where he stops, listens to the sound, his ears kind of swivel, and then he figures out a rhythm or a beat, if you see what I mean? And he doesn't know the Vreen well enough, but tries to remember maybe one of the things he's heard or something like that, and tries to tap out, rather on a word keyboard, like a musical keyboard, tries to tap out a tune and see what that does.
Okay. Unfortunately, this is going to be either a lore or xenology roll.
Can I argue for education on I understand how music works, and I understand how like rhythms and patterns work.
Yeah.
And I've met these people. I've encountered this civilization, but I don't think I've ever heard them sing. I'm not that intimate with their society.
If you feel that the Vreen haven't really adapted to anything since back in this day, and their way of education and thinking will still be the same as it was 2,000 years ago, you can totally have education, because it is basically just modern knowledge of the Vreen. Thinking about it, how I say it, they are not an adaptive race. They kind of stay stuck with their traditional ways. So yeah, I think education's fine. I'm going to increase the difficulty on it, though. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to flip a dark side point, because we are time sensitive now.
I'm going to flip a light side as well if the rest of the party is okay with that.
Yep.
Did I tell you the difficulty? Sorry.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it is 3 difficulty on this one. Obviously, I flipped a dark side, so one of them is red.
Okay. Is there any way I can get a boost of any description? Can anyone help me with this? Can I rope in?
I mean, the other thing I was going to say, because I've been a bit quiet while other people are doing things, because one, I was assuming that Savriel has been slightly recovering from being disoriented from the fight and patching himself up a little bit, but he does have expert tracker as a passive thing. So if he wanted to find tracks or find targets where tracks in question are whoever last went through a doorway, which we're trying to find.
I think the way that conversation goes is I look at my party members and go,
Can anyone see where the stones might be a bit more worn?
at which point Savriel could.
That I think you can do. Because we're aiming for a certain amount of successes, I'm quite happy for you to do your roll now, and then with whatever movement that you make, it might give a boost to Ross as he looks around to look and see what sort of reactions there are from when you're pressing stuff.
Okay. So that's 5 successes and 4 threat, which sings to me that I've fallen. it's like, this next bit is over here. Jump, crunch, ow! I think what's happening on 5 successes is I get the rhythm, like I just get the rhythm right, and then I have but back then it was spelt with a Y sort of moment while my foot just goes through something.
With 5 successes, I will tell you, around this room there are 11 other doors.
Right.
Very similar to the one you came in on. You can probably get them open quite happily. It will take a while because it is a ritual they do to open and close these doors, and they're not doors for convenience. They're there to close and stay closed, or open and stay open. But you figured out where the doors are. You kind of figured out how to open them, and in fact you've opened a couple of them a few centimeters and maybe an inch or two, so you can see the bottom of where the doors are. I'm going to take those threat though and convert them into something a little bit more interesting than just having strain. As you're pressing on the keys and learning how to do things and learning how things press and how things react, there's a click from behind you, not where you expected. Adam, the sarcophagus has just opened.
I kind of look towards the sarcophagus, like reassuring myself that the prism is still in a box in the bottom of my bag.
Yeah. And
then I think I frantically gesture towards Savriel while he is doing his ritual funky dance around the room. I think I don't say anything, but I frantically gesture to catch Savriel's eye, and I point towards the sarcophagus and make a kind of a opening gesture.
I'm definitely paying attention to what the sarcophagus is doing. I've also just realised this isn't Close Adventures of the Third Kind. This is the bookshelf in the Addams family, and it's just all fallen off the shelf.
So, what are you doing? Are you going to go and help with the doors, or are you going to go and help with the sarcophagus?
I'm going to help with the sarcophagus, because that seems like the more urgent thing.
Righto, you step towards it. It's on a slight plinth. It's maybe like a step up of the foot of all this black stone. And the sarcophagus is kind of made out of the same sort of stuff and stands probably about 8 feet tall, with about 7 feet of room inside it. As it creaks open, you see the inside is black as well, but there are these veins of purple coming down from the top of the sarcophagus all the way down the inside.
Lick it.
I do not lick the inside of the sarcophagus.
Boo! You're no fun.
I am not claiming ownership of it.
I believe this is a yes, Father, I will join the dark side potential moment.
Are you getting any closer?
Definitely not so close that I would be inside it, no.
I would say you can be happily at medium range if you want. It's a big room. Or you could get closer. You don't necessarily need to get inside it.
No. I mean, shining a torch at it and saying, right, that looks like, I'm guessing at this point, there's a room for one person inside it, and then that person will interface in ways I don't want to think about with the technology.
Just as you're looking at it, Adam, you're watching him to make sure nothing bad happens, aren't you?
I have 360 degree
Yeah,
vision.
but you're focusing on what's going on with.
Yeah.
Okay, can the both of you make me a discipline roll?
I've rolled 2 threats and no success or failure.
Okay.
4 successes, 3 threats.
There's lots of threat between us.
Adam, there is a pulse from the sarcophagus, only perceptible to yourself. Really, nobody else hears a boom, but you feel a bloom from the sarcophagus, and it washes over you. And I want you to take those 3 threats strain, because this place is just evil. Ross, you failed.
Yep.
And I said you could be anything up to medium range. You're at close range, and you're not quite sure how you got there. You were walking towards it, and you were looking at it, and then the next thing you know, it's kind of 4 or 5 feet away.
We need to destroy that pedestal, says Rakeo, sweating, which is cutting lines through the settled ash that has kind of marked his face. We need to destroy this pedestal. Even if Korath awakes, we cannot allow the prison to be placed in that. Savriel, please tell me you have something that you can use here.
I don't think I have any explosives.
I think I might have something. Hang on. I think I've just performed a funeral dance.
I'm going to take that as a moment of realization to step back towards medium range.
Ross,
yes.
You're fine where you are. You're fine where you are. It's all right. It's perfectly safe. You don't feel like stepping away for some reason. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Heek's arms drop as he realizes, he replays the moves because he was looking for the mechanical sweetness, not the actions. And his brain's just gone, oh, but to have balance, oh. And it clicks that what the movements and the sound was somber, and then something awful's just happened, and he's gone,
I might have something.
Mikey,
Yeah.
is it reasonable to assume that I have somewhere in the thing that just says engineer's kit that I have destructive tools?
You have destructive tools in the same way that you have big hammers and things like that. You don't have anything you can really explode.
Except gunpowder.
Yeah, we did have some minor, a few sticks of TNT worth, I want to say, that are in.
Yeah, you picked up a couple on the.
Yeah.
Well, somebody picked up a couple on the Aurora.
I'm pretty sure I did pick up something, but it would require a drill and some patience rather than...
Yeah. I think considering it, if anything you would have got would have been from LaRue's ship, you've probably got a few sticks of dynamite or something like that, because sometimes doors are tricky, as you heard from the people outside.
I have dynamite and a drill. Will that be enough?
It is better than nothing. If only to disrupt some of the patterns and sigils there. I'm already at short range because I have to be to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I limp over to Savriel and try to pull him away. Savriel, we need to step away from here. Do not give in to its influence, my friend. Do not give in.
I mean, I haven't detected any influence, but...
You need to do a coercion roll for this one, mate.
Can I do a leadership test?
Yes, you can. The difficulty is going to be Savriel's discipline.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, my discipline is 2 green, so 2 purple.
Yeah, he's not too difficult to sway away from it. He just has no internal motivation to do it himself. So you can basically put your arm on him and lead him away fairly easily just by talking to him softly about stepping away and distracting him.
Well, you say that. Let's see what the dice say. That's a wash.
Okay, then ignore that bit I did before, and I shall say this. He doesn't seem in peril. He doesn't seem angry about leaving or anything like that. You just have no motivation to get any further away. I mean, you could physically move him.
Well, I was about to say, no, I can't. I know that he's bigger and stronger than me and also has fully functioning limbs. He's a soldier.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to pull. I think when I realise that isn't working, I do try, but like Rakayo's not totally weak, but it is almost embarrassing. Like he is not able to shift Savriel at all.
I'm in danger.
So before Rakayo stepped in, who's more competent at this, I was going to do a thing, so I'm going to try it now. He will yell at Savriel and go,
I need a hand with this. Rakayo, this is not your specialism. Savriel, you're big and strong. Can you hold a fuse for me?
I can take a coercion.
Oh, a coercion. Cool. That's one. I got 1 green on that. So it's worth a try.
Yep, 2 purple.
Yay!
Good work.
I've been doing quite well, so I'm waiting for it to go horribly wrong, which is...
Lou, at this point you come back. As you get back in, you hear them getting to the first trap. And it sounds like it hasn't gone off, because it's not the same sort of frantic noise that you would expect.
There's not enough noise.
Yeah, you expect there to be a boom and probably ash being shoved down the corridor at you. But there's shouting and screaming and panic. But it's not because they've set off that trap. You hear combat. There is fighting going on outside.
The cavalry's arrived.
Koro, thank goodness you're safe.
Good. I need to blow up this thing, and then we need to do a ritual dance to open one of the doors. And that's not the strangest thing I've said so far.
As long as you lead.
Always.
He holds out his hand in a kind of that dance move. Anyway, because we're talking about dancing. That was 1 success and 1 threat, which is it's a success.
Okay, so the threat, we're going to take more strain, and the success, you were quite comfortable where you are, Ross. You were quite comfortable where you are, and suddenly, you know, like when people take a micro nap in a blink, and it seems like the time kind of, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
You blink, and then you're helping Heek with his bomb, and you're not really sure why you were. To you, he just goes, "Oh, right," and goes and helps. It's breaking him out of that moment, allows him to move.
Yeah.
So, on to setting up the bomb.
So obviously I'm stripping the wires with my teeth to get it going, and the thing that he's been fiddling with all the time, he's I've got this to add on top. He's looking to do something structural, so it's a dangerous exotic thing that is weird, and everyone is behaving weirdly when they look at it, so I'm going to have to look at it. So I look at it.
You're doing the pedestal, not the sarcophagus, is that right?
Are we doing the pedestal?
Pedestal.
We're doing the pedestal.
Pedestal.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to worry about looking at the pedestal.
I think you start looking at the sarcophagus and Rakayo just shuffles in front of you and goes, pedestal, Heek, pedestal.
In fact, he glazes over just for a second. You just grab him by the hand and take him to the right thing.
Thank you, Father.
And then he structurally, it's a pedestal. There's obviously a weak bit.
There is potentially the hole where the prism should go. Just jam 3 sticks of dynamite into that handy opening and...
It's not that deep. It probably wouldn't destroy the pedestal. What you probably need to do is put them at the base.
Yeah, he sticks them at the base. It has a little hand drill thing, so it goes in.
Ah, now that's interesting. Your little hand drill isn't doing a great deal.
Tape it is then.
Yeah. I mean, it's not impervious, but it's really, really strong. So you're drilling into it, but you pull the drill out and it's red at the end. That sort of...
Pulls the drill out and goes, and then takes out some nails, puts them strategically, and then tapes. So the explosion's going to go everywhere because it's dynamite. But he wants some of the explosion to go in one very specific direction, if you see what I mean.
Which way?
To shatter the pedestal.
Okay, well, you're underneath it, so you just have it going up. That would be fine. You have a bag of nails on you?
I'm sure I have bits.
What do you have on you?
We've got gaffer tape, canonically. We've had that appear in a previous episode.
Yeah.
So
it's got gaffer tape. I think he's either going to use stone or some other sort of securing thing.
You're making a nail bomb, so I'm just curious what you were making it with. You can get a stone and things like that, like a proper shotgun blast out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just absolutely will have tiny little ball bearings, look at them and go, nope, I need those, they're too useful, and so on.
Kuro hands you a couple of bullets.
Oh yes. Thank you.
And finishes building something that will go up and mostly wants to take out the base of the pedestal as much as possible. And very importantly, away from him. Is it going to land on any of the pressure plates?
Probably. You're more than likely going to fire it into the air.
Right.
Pow!
Yeah, that'll do.
Bottle rocket!
It's going to be a fairly big explosion because there's nothing to hide behind other than the sarcophagus, and you'd have to get quite close to it for that. I mean, there are corpses on the floor, but they're kind of mummified. They won't really do anything.
We're going to have to find a corner, and we're going to have to hide in that corner.
It's a completely round room with a dome ceiling. So you have it's a big room though. You could probably just go far enough away. If you went to say medium range, you'd probably be all right.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it again.
We're going to have to find a spot to cower in when this goes off. Not here. Be not here or over there. That way.
What about the corridor that we came in through?
Can we get the door? Yes, that's an excellent place to be.
So that's going to be probably about lighting, maybe about a minute or so of fuse.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably put it to a minute and a half and make sure you actually get cover. A minute to get to it with all of your stuff.
Well, everyone else can get cover, and then all he needs to do is run.
Yeah.
So reckons he can do it in a minute. Like, he's not dumb. He knows how fast his little feet are.
Roll me a roll. Roll me a roll. That's good English, isn't it? Roll me.
It's mechanics usually for demolition.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Roll me a mechanics, and it's just a difficulty 2, but I'm going to flip a dark side.
Oh, great! Yeah.
You're setting a bomb up. It's the time to flip a dark side.
Yeah.
Is everybody else making their way towards where the...
I am, but my mental picture of the entire thing at the minute is, with this lighting a fuse and such, is definitely from A Grand Day Out.
Yeah. It's a fairly long fuse to get you all the way. You all start making your way across to where the door is. Lou, with your decent perception, you can hear the fighting in the first chamber is continuing. There is a couple of big explosions. I say big explosions, like some explosive ordnance is going off. It looks like the Vreen are not stopping, and the attackers are defending themselves with everything they've got.
Good, that means they'll have less when they get to us.
Exactly.
You know, at this point, I regret not taking the special talent Time to Go, which allows me to walk away from explosions looking cool. Which is basically what it does.
Next time, Gadget, next time.
Ooh, no. So that's 1 failure and 2 advantage. So which bits of me go in which direction, please, Mikey?
What do you want for your advantages?
He looks cool doing.
I want the explosion to throw me into somewhere safe, essentially. So either for it to open a door or for it to drop me down into somewhere.
And it's not going to explode in your face.
Okay.
But what would you like your advantages to be on it? You have messed something up in this thing, but the timer is still going. I think it's not going to give you... Actually, no, you have misconstrued how long the timer would take. And whilst you think you've got about a minute and a half, you've got significantly longer than that. But you step away from the explosion and don't realise that that's happened. Step away from the bomb and don't realise that's happened. It's going on. So you're making your way back over to the main doors after the spark lights. Would you like to get rid of some of your strain from a job well done on that one?
Yeah,
so... We've been taking a lot.
Yes, spend it all on strain.
Going back to you guys making your way across, and as he lights it, you just make your way to where the archway is. You can hear that the tomb is continuing to complain as you can hear it getting close to the door, the firefight that is happening in the first of the rooms that you came through. It's having an effect on this area because you can see dust drifting down in fine sheets in the corridor and into the main room. And then you hear footsteps, just a single set coming down the corridor. And as you get to the entrance, it's probably maybe only about 20 feet away. They're slow and they're deliberate. They echo down the passageway as they approach. They're limping. And as they step out of the gloom, they're framed by the torchlight you have. Cloaked in rags, uniform in ruins, their smile humorless, his face gleaming unnaturally, his posture too rigid, too still, too controlled. He does not blink. Lord Colonel LaRue. He says to you softly, "You shouldn't have come here." And that's where we're going to end it.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.